Inheriting the legacy of Silence of the Lambs means that we also have inherited a rich visual legacy and an extremely cinematic experience that people associate with that world. So if you were to read the pilot, you would see how descriptive and how carefully everything is laid out. For us as a writing team, it's not just the dialogue that's important in our script, but our action lines are also very evocative and specific. We knew right away, based on the movie Silence of the Lambs, that we were not going to be afraid of darkness, which is unusual, I think, on network television, and we were going to allow our visuals to be big and operatic. If we were building a set, we wanted it to be as expansive as possible so that we could use long lenses, so we could feel very close to the characters, so that we could get into their subjective point of view.
Elizabeth Klibitter is an amazing showrunner and an amazing human being. She's an amazing showrunner because she's an amazing human being. And what she did right from the start is she came into this with such a receptive, open mind about how to collaborate with all the different people who are working on the show, but also how to have a clear vision, how to get the best out of the writers.
Looks like a serial guy to me.
The kind of storytelling I'm drawn to has a satisfaction with each episode.
Sir, I need to do a full examination of her wounds and build a BSU profile before determining if it's a serial killer.
Another one at the drainage gate.
And a long arc, a season story that are both thematic and closed-ended.
Go with her, Esquivel. I want to see what she can do. I hear Starling's not quite 100%. If she makes any moves on her own, I want to know.
So I enjoy thinking in 13 episodes, and then I enjoy thinking in an episode, and then an act, and then a scene. For us, the question is, who is Clarice? Where is she? What is she learning in this episode? And like, what is the deep dive? So we were looking for what we call deep mean writing, in that we really want to get to a core truth, an uncomfortable truth for the characters, and see how that impacts their relationships with other characters. And we're doing that in the context of Thomas Harris's world, where we get to solve crime.
Okay, recording.
African-American female. Mid-20s. Nude.
So we're doing it in the context or the backdrop of the darkness of the world.
Could be post-mortem.
And then where the light comes in is with Clarice.
Engagement, wedding set, left ring finger. Small carrot, but it's a sweet ring.
Her husband, he cared.
Because Clarice, as a character, is someone who has a sparkle. She has an intrinsic lightness to her, partly because she's young, but also there's an optimism in feeling that you can solve a crime. There's a hope in feeling that you can identify
Let's set her free.
what is causing a certain evil event to happen and then stopping it. She doesn't do that from a place of cynicism. She does that from a place of optimism and a place of hope, and in wanting to make the world a just place, a better place. Clarice really gives us the spine of hope for the entire series.
You're not crazy. Crazy men don't stage a suicide, you son of a bitch. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in the court of law.
You have no idea what this is.
I better know you if you called in this early.
Episode 2 was my first chance working in partnership with Elizabeth Klibitter, who I wrote the episode with, and it was a real chance for us to form a great artistic relationship.
Is that Kentucky I hear in your accent?
West Virginia, sir.
Well, then I imagine what you see here is all too familiar. How's a good girl like you become a Fed, Clarice?
Only place to go is up or out.
It's always down in there.
One of the beautiful things about the Clarice character is that she's an orphan.
Did you leave behind people?
And so much of what drives her as a character is the quest to find safety of her own and find a place to land.
No, don't wipe it on your clothes. It'll stain.
For our second episode, a layup would have been to just stay with the case that you introduced in the pilot and sticking with that, whodunit, as you say. But instead, we said no, right? Let's really plant our flag and say this is going to be about character, and this is going to be about our exploration of this character that we all love.
I'm out of moves on this side. She wants to take the arrest for the win.
Sir, Novak deliberately escalated things to get Rowan in because he knew Rowan would get him out. I can make Novak give it up. Give them both up. Sir, I need your authorization.
I know you have every reason not to, but I'm asking anyway. I know guys like this.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you. Use your best judgment. Get back here ASAP. Command out.
When you see how her relationships with all the characters in the show develop over time, a lot of those seeds are planted here in episode 2.
Better check your equipment.
Where they really have to find a way to rely on each other and trust each other.
You know what you don't have? You don't have backup.
You're pointing your weapon at a federal officer.
Clarice gets her first taste and the first sense that, hey, this might be a place where I can find a family.
I thought you'd have a little more fight in you than that.
Sir, you have no idea.
And it's an idiosyncratic, interesting, difficult family, but that's like real family, right? What family isn't?
Boogeymen are real.
Which is why we need to convict one right now.
Speaking of which,
Listen, Starling has a different idea about this guy.
Starling.
She's your girl, Ruth, and what she's saying has teeth.
We had the pilot where we introduced everybody. We'd had episode 2 where we watched everybody in action. And since we had set up the season arc of the big case that we would be following,
Why'd you change your mind?
it fell to 103 to take the first rung on the ladder, which was Carl Welling.
Everybody's got a game, honey.
He was trained to do this. This was his occupation. And so it was interesting to start out exploring someone who does this for a living and has found inside himself the ability to harm people by choice and not by some inner drive. And so it became equally interesting to realize that Esquivel is that same person and that you can diverge on 2 paths and really let it take you to the dark side, or you can try and overcome.
You're no scout sniper.
Special Forces. You're a damn disgrace. Who gives you the right?
All right, hey. Cool off.
Esquivel is constantly struggling to look at the reasons for what he's done and find the good person inside and the good motivation inside. His whole life has been setting himself on that course, I think.
In Panama once, I had this runner. You could not lead this kid. But I stayed with him for a quarter mile. Breathed with him. Got right in his head with him, you know? And he thought, I'm good. But I was like,
I got you.
Right through the neck. He runs another 10 yards before he realizes, oh snap, I'm dead. No paperwork.
God, he's not making this up, is he?
When he's confronted with the fact that there's a really thin line between what Esquivel's done for a living and what a Carl Welling does for a living, he's really deeply disturbed by it.
Anyway, I kind of miss it, you know? Permission.
Man, your commanding officer must have loved you.
Serving as a sharpshooter has really laid a burden on him that he carries the darkness that it took for him to be able to do that job.
You know, the thing about your skill set is you only get half the story. You're carrying the people you shot, and you never get to carry the people you saved.
He didn't give us anything in there. He He laughed in my face.
No, he told us why he's not talking.
He did?
He thinks we're compromised, corrupt. He's trapped and he's scared and he does not trust us.
I like Esquivel a lot. After me and him kind of combined, I had a lot of conversations with Alex and Jenny and Elizabeth about how he's like one of the only characters who's not affiliated with Silence of the Lambs or Thomas Harris, like he doesn't exist.
Esquivel, to my mind, is the heart of the series. Like, there's just a way that he looks at the world, which you really see, like, in the pilot with the big eyes and, like, his instant kindness to Clarice.
Welcome to the FBI, Starling.
And I wanted to make sure that he felt true to the world and he fit the narrative. Look, no one from our team would have pulled a stunt like that. He stuck out just enough for it to be something new, but he still complemented these already iconic and recognized characters. I come from military. I've never worked a serial case before.
Lucky you.
But some of the stuff you said at the scene, it made sense to me.
His confidence to be vulnerable with her and support her.
Your wheelhouse isn't real pleasant. You wouldn't be in it if you couldn't see the way you do.
And I think that we root for them to be friends instantly.
Hey, we're on the same team here, Starling. This place needs a house cleaning. But you gotta trust somebody sometime, or you die alone.
Wellig?
When Carl Wellig is killed by the end of the episode.
What the hell? What's happening?
He's having a stroke.
Call 911.
Wellig!
That is the purest indication that Clarice has been right all along, that there's way more here than meets the eye.
Wellig! Wellig! Come on, Wellig, come on. Wellig! Help! Wellig.
I don't have a pulse.
Move.
Carl Wellig is killed in FBI custody, and it poses to be a big problem for ViCAP. So while ViCAP is getting investigated, Clarice wants justice for the women. She's a protagonist who actually likes to do things on her own. She gets the most results when she does things on her own. She dives into danger and into the darkness, and she needs to save the lamb.
I've been hard on you since you joined ViCAP. And not because you found Bill before we did. I did. But because when you found him, no one knew where you were.
She idolizes her dad. He's her hero. She watched him. He worked alone. So he was out there doing his night watchman thing, and he did it. He's strong. He's a martyr. He kept the town safe, and he did it on his own, and he didn't put anyone else in danger while he was doing it. And she wants to be like him, you know? So why would I bring Tripathi and Esquivel when they're just gonna be in danger? I can get what I need doing this thing without endangering them. And if I'm in danger, well, I'm in danger. This is what my dad would have done. You know, so she has all her ways of justifying it.
What makes her a great agent is that focus that she has to really pursue the case and really explore avenues that other agents won't go down. But at the same time, that is her biggest vulnerability, and which ultimately lands her in the hands of Dr. Felker.
One of my favorite things about episode 5 is Clarice is just confined and trapped in so many ways. She's literally cannot move her legs. She is stuck in this bed with this woman who keeps injecting her with drugs, and we get to see how freaking brilliant Clarice is and how powerful her mind is. That's Andrea. It just takes the character to a whole new level for me to watch her pick up on everything Marilyn says and doesn't say, and where she looks and what she does, and learn so much.
That's Adam. He was a sports agent, and his family sends one of those stupid foam fingers because he's number 1.
I'm sorry, did you alphabetize these people?
Yes. I'm the only one who keeps them alive and cares enough to alphabetize.
We also just get to see how she really does want to survive and fighting for that survival and to get out of that bed. We did speak a tremendous amount over many weeks about the hallucinations of Buffalo Bill and the well and everything we see in 105. And initially in the breaking of the episode, they were not included. It was more telling a pretty straightforward flashback story about Clarice's life. We know from the previous episodes that there is a lot of trauma she's harboring from Buffalo Bill that she's kind of pushing to the back of her mind, and she's heard the term PTSD, but she hasn't exactly accepted it or wanted to deal with it on her own. So episode 5 became the perfect opportunity to both explore that and also bring up some really important information about Clarice's childhood and her father.
Sometimes that scary thing is, it's the only way to survive.
I got you. You're safe. You're safe.
Crenler and her team and Ardelia are all so frustrated with her because it's like you almost died many times. You don't understand what it is to be a part of a family, you know, because she's not been. And I don't know if she realizes what she has in ViCAP yet.
She knows everything. There was a man. I couldn't see his face. I couldn't see his face.
In our episode, we were just dealing with the aftermath of her kidnapping, of her trying to remember the other accomplice.
There was a man there. He hit me. I can't remember his face.
That's not unusual.
But if we're gonna find him.
The one thing that I think Clarice always prides herself on is her mind, as her superpower has always been her mind, as we've seen from the movie and the other episodes. Her mind is what is her antagonist in this episode.
I hope we can find him. I just wish I could remember.
Because she can't remember the face of her attacker. And so she's doing anything, even hypnosis, to try to push her memory to the limit.
When you hear that sound, open your eyes and tell me where you are.
When it came time to put Clarice in therapy, I realized very quickly that she was not going to be an easy patient.
Where are you?
Woodhaven.
And we weren't going to be able to put her with a traditional therapist and get the results that we needed.
Are you alone?
We needed somebody
No.
who was really dealing with pain and trauma in a particular way that was a bit outside of the box.
My throat burns real bad.
I can bring you out.
No, wait, I need to know.
My wife was a social worker in a Chinese clinic in New York City. And I saw the social workers there doing such powerful work.
My legs. I'm gonna fall.
Then fall.
We went down the list. We were like, oh, you know, maybe this person should be, you know, a world famous PhD or this or that.
Where are you? I'm on the floor.
And in the end, we were like, well, what about these social workers that are doing amazing therapy? Like, wouldn't that be the person that would truly be able to see what Clarice is going through and look at her history, right?
How does it feel to be so beautiful?
And not reduce her, but allow her psychology to be unearthed.
Who? Who did you see?
With her fullness intact.
I couldn't get his face. Can we try again? I can do it again.
You can't rush it.
When we pitched the episode idea to CBS, they're like, oh, you guys are doing dinner. And we're like, just wait. You know, there's a lot that you could do at dinner.
Hello, I'm Clarice Starling. I'm here to see...
Please, come in.
When Alex Kurtzman and Jenny Lumet were challenging us with this episode, they were constantly asking us to think of like some of the most tense scenes on stage, not on screen, and to really think of it like a play.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it back to us.
Because it's a quieter episode, it allows us to explore character emotional dynamics that much more.
What are we going to drink to?
How about Clarice feeling better after she...
That's very thoughtful of you, Catherine.
Are you feeling better, Clarice?
And so you find that all the stories within episode 6 are really about internal battles.
Yes. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Here's to feeling better.
They're really about people confronting themselves and their weaknesses. And so the challenge of the episode was really these 3 powerful women, all of who have emotional trauma, sitting at the dinner table, each kind of with their own wants, and trying to get through that dinner. Clarice just wanting to get back in the case, Catherine wanting Clarice to acknowledge what really happened that night, Ruth wanting to try to fix her daughter.
Catherine, B made a lovely dinner.
Obviously, the trauma bond is very delicate, and it's not something that I think would ever look the same to any trauma bond. 2 people over here is gonna look very different to 2 people relating to the same issues in another place and time. So it's almost something I don't have a clear description of, because how do you start a relationship from that?
For you.
I wouldn't even know where to begin, and I think I really clicked with that with Catherine of how do I begin? I need to talk to this person, and I need to make some sense of it in my own mind, and this is literally the only lifeline I have.
Did you make this?
So whether I like it or not,
it's alpaca fleece.
This is my truth, and this is the only person that has lived that truth with me.
I found where his mother lives.
Whose mother?
Buffalo Bill's. Jane Gums. Her name is Lila. She changed her last name.
Catherine, why do you
but
want
I found her.
Why do you want to meet Bill's mother?
Don't you?
Ruth does not understand how she had this daughter. Her husband, who has passed away, he was the one that was a kindred spirit to Catherine. She always felt sort of out here, kind of out of her depth, and yet she loves her so much. And now that her husband, Tom, is gone, and then there's this trauma, so there's grief upon trauma upon grief. Reaching over that divide is next to impossible, which is why she reaches for Clarice. You were saved.
If anything is mine in this house, anything, it's my story. And you took it and used it.
As the season goes along, you see this pain and this frustration.
If it had never, ever happened, Mom, you'd still be the junior senator from Tennessee.
What makes it great working with Ken, he's this acclaimed playwright, and I also came from playwriting.
I'm very glad your father is not alive to see you like this.
So it was a lot of fun for the 2 of us to face these challenges that aren't on the battlefield or on the FBI front, but on this emotional character front.
In 107, came up with this idea that there would be 2 different cases. One that was the traditional, everyone in the country is watching the case of this missing boy.
All right, the only people permitted in this room are the people actively working the Phelps case. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
I want a timeline for the day Cody went missing. Tell the Rapid Start supervisor to get his ass down here. Tell him I want any particulars on my desk the second they become available.
And then another one that happens in inner city Washington, D.C. in the 90s that was the highest African-American population in the country.
Mitochondrial DNA found at the Cody Phelps scene is a match to DNA found on a murder victim from 12 years ago. Bobby Larkin, abducted in Northwest D.C. in 1982, found 2 days later hidden in a wall in the basement of an abandoned house.
We decided that we definitely wanted to put the crime that happened in Ardelia's neighborhood, because we wanted to get to know her better and we wanted to see where she came from and who she came from and the things that built her a tiny bit.
What do you want?
We're looking for Fran Larkin.
Not here. At a friend's.
Do you have that number?
No.
No, sir, that's not gonna do. I hear you, but we need to speak to Miss Larkin, so how about you take us to her now? How about that?
It starts and you're wondering if she's just going to be Clarice's friend. And then I like that she gets taken out and you see her in all these different situations and you see her mind work.
Sorry to barge in on you folks. Thank you for taking the time, Mrs. Larkin. I grew up right near here. That Ethiopian place on U Street. That's my grandma's.
We see this journey of her
At first, you meet her, and it's in her loft. Was there a big group that came in around the same time? And then by the end, you finally see her in the office, and then you see her out on the field, and then you see her saving Clarice. And so you just get this constant growth. You just see her grow, which is exciting.
Why are you interested now? All the police ever said was Bobby was in that house selling drugs or buying drugs or something.
But he wasn't like that. He was driven and kind and smart. Oh, it never made sense.
And that was really exciting to talk about because we had already started on a journey of unconscious bias between Clarice and Ardelia.
Thank you for giving one damn. Thank you for giving one damn about my child. You're the only one.
Ma'am, I promise I won't be the last.
What?
Where are they?
Bathroom, maybe? I mean, who the hell knows what Esquivel and Tripati eat for lunch every day? And it's not my turn to track Starling's cycle.
Clark, when you first meet him, like his suits are ill-fitting and his ties are too loud, and he's a little bit gruff and he says things that are politically incorrect.
Sniper, psycho, peas in a pod. It's my specialty. Old, disgruntled white guy. When do we find out that his mommy shark didn't breastfeed him? I've been cultivating it for the last, I don't know. I'm moving into the older, disgruntled white guy now.
You don't have to sit and watch me like a spaniel.
Yeah, I mean, he's stuck, you know? He's stuck. The world is happening and things are moving, and they're moving too quickly. So he is, I think, what's happening to a lot of people in society today. He is like, wait, hold on, I want to keep things the way they were. Although I do think there's a place in him that, I think maybe he's a little too smart for that. You know, he's fighting it.
Where's Esquivel?
He said he was going alone and that I can back off and continue my march towards obsolescence.
As the season goes on, we start to see this intrinsic vulnerability and deep care. It starts in episode 7, where there's a kid that's missing. And there's this moment where he's examining this child who's cocooned in this weird tomb in the wall, and you see him fiercely holding back tears.
If he'd been protected, he wouldn't be here right now.
That this moment is devastating to Clark, and all of a sudden you think to yourself, what else is here? It's Nick Sandow. He's a true artist. And when you bring that actor, that instrument, to this role that is gruff and politically incorrect, the merger of those two things just makes something really special. And it's been such a joy to work with him.
Hudlin needed me under his thumb. I wanted to get him comfortable, so to get him talking, I let him knock me off the wagon. Yeah. Can't tell my sponsor why, obviously, so I'm telling you. Okay?
Whatever you're about to say is a load of crap.
I think one of the wonderful things that Alex and Jenny do really well is their character and their story.
I am going to suggest that you saw a side door because you wanted a drink. And even if that's not true, well, you better damn well act like it is.
Those wonderful dynamics and the flaws that make us who we are. You know, Krendler's an alcoholic. Krendler is overcoming his issues.
You okay?
He has a wife that he loves deeply. Incredible sexual attraction.
You wore the boots.
They've always been lucky for us.
But they are terrible for each other. They are a car wreck. The thing that they do best together is get drunk. And they are the worst to each other when they are drunk, and they are the most exciting to each other when they are drunk. And they're both trying to get sober now.
How many days for you?
Less than you. A lot less. It's hard.
We have children. You know, what does that do to the dynamic of the family? I had to move out to get sober.
What's going on?
Daddy!
Hey.
The minute we saw him and heard him, and we realized, wait a minute, we wrote Krendler as a little bit unlikable, but we love Michael. What do we do? What do we do?
You know why you're here, Starling?
The AG sent me, Mr.
You're
Cronlund.
Ruth Martin's drop of honey for the cameras.
And he brought this incredible humanity, and you know that it's this guy who's trying to hold it together.
I went in to ask about carpool tomorrow, and she won't wake up. I can't wake her up.
Wait outside a sec.
He's trying to hold his family together.
Hey, Mandy.
He's trying to hold the FBI together. He's trying to hold his idea of what we should all be in balance. And that's a lot.
My guys didn't even know she left, much less where she went.
That was the point, Paul.
She's my agent.
Starling is my agent, and I'll remind you, so are you.
Relationship with Paul Crenler and Ruth Martin is really interesting because it was born professionally and then turned personal when it involved her child.
Of course I think about them. Those officers. I have dreams about them. Horrible dreams. They don't have faces. I had no idea that what I was doing would lead to that. I just wanted my little girl back, Paul.
Oh, no.
The arc of the relationship between Ruth and Catherine is so relatable.
I was never the right one for her. I might have been a good mother for someone else, but not her.
And there are these moments where your child just feels so out of your reach. And when a moment occurs that shifts that dynamic into a place where there can be healing and communion, it's achingly, overwhelmingly beautiful.
Catherine?
Mom.
Sweetheart, hi.
They let you call?
It's not prison.
Are you all right?
Yeah. I'm in here with everyone. I don't feel lonely or crazy.
I know me being here isn't great for you.
But it was the right thing. So thanks for sending Clarice.
I'm gonna need the names of everyone in the FBI who has this idea about a merger.
That's not a thing that happens. For Tripati, you really don't know a lot when you find out he's an art aficionado.
Nils really likes showing it to me. His painting goes deep with him.
It's weird.
Weird? Is that a clinical term?
It's an Eva Gallows, but it's weird. Her style is unmistakable, and yet this is unlike any of her other paintings that I've ever seen. It's out of character.
Well, it means something to him.
Part of that was, I remember that early conversation where they said, well, what we know about him is, you know, he has sort of a non-traditional approach to joining the FBI. So we assume he, in the past, worked at like the Smithsonian or worked at some sort of a museum. So he has this kind of humanities background with which he approaches helping people and catching bad guys and, you know, supporting victims and all of that. And I thought, okay, well, when are we going to learn about that? And you get a little nugget of his personal life. You find out that his wife passed away. We don't know exactly how long it's been. We assume it's been a couple of years. So you get that little nugget of his personal life, and then you get the little tease about his background before he joined the FBI. There's a long tradition of paintings on top of paintings. Vasari, painting over Da Vinci. Van Gogh painted over himself. In this case, it just so happens that the painting on top is the hidden one.
It's Kronos. That's what he kept saying, but why not just have the painting? Why so cryptic?
I remember a conversation with Rebecca Breeds. She just was really telling me how she felt held and supported by Domain, and very grateful for the time that she was willing to take to discuss the material and allow Rebecca to do her deepest and best work.
Really, my job as a producing director and as a director, I believe, is to make sure that people are seen and heard. When people are seen, they get comfortable. And I think when people are comfortable, they do their best work.
Taking her dad off the pedestal, where she realizes that perhaps he wasn't this hero that she thought, you know, in fact, he's a common criminal. And he actually put me in harm's way. My mum was the hero sending me away to try and protect me from him.
What matters is how you're going to live without feeling that everything you do is built on it. Because it's not.
There's a beautiful metaphor of the death and rebirth. And there's a lot to be broken down. In the breaking down of these constructs in her life, it creates fresh soil for new things to grow, and she realizes that you get to choose what you're going to grow. You know, you get to choose what you're going to foster. You get to choose what you're going to nurture, who you're going to become. You get to choose that. You're not the product of your circumstances, your upbringing, unless you let yourself be.
Is there a chance? For me?
Ty, you didn't come into the world like this. But everyone's handed a burden. And you couldn't put yours down.
Her name means clarity. Clarice is clarity. It's truth. She's a truth seeker.
You saw me, right?
And if you can't be truthful with yourself, you can't be truthful with anyone.
No. You were in my blind spot.
She's come to that understanding that in order to be a part of the solution in making the world a better place,
But I see you now.
she needs to get real with herself first. Whoa, the world may not be this construct that I thought it was. Maybe I have to start rethinking everything.
Clarice.
Not just who I am and my identity, but what this is. Maybe I do deserve love. Maybe I do deserve belonging. Maybe that's something that is for me in this world. I think going back to her mother's house is the next step on the journey, but I don't think it's the end of the journey.
Hi, Mama.
And I hope people are inspired by that.